With this video, we're going to cover all of the playsets that were Batman related, produced by the Ideal Toy Corporation in the 60s, 1966. They made a variety of different Batman playsets and carry cases, which were also playsets, and we're even going to cover reproductions in later years. Been wanting to make this video a long time, so stay tuned. You're seeing prices realized with heritage auctions over 10,000, 15,000 years ago. Hakes Americana also sold an example for 10,000 back in 2005. The highest recorded record was in Toy Shop Magazine. Bill Brugman of Toy Scouts in Akron, Ohio, $26,450 back in 1995. This playset is definitely a holy grail, and it is extremely difficult to complete, and especially for all the nondescript items. So we're going to jump right into these figures, starting with Batman, because if it weren't for him, none of this would have happened. He has a water slide transfer for his chest insignia emblem, and it would be embossed lettering on his base. These figures are often found with broken limbs, and they're often mistaken for cake decorations. And coincidentally, in 1975, Wilton Enterprises produced a larger scale ripping off that figure, and it could come with 2 to 5 bats in this plastic baggie. Now we're on to Robin. He also has a water slide transfer for his R patch. It's a nice figure. And here we have Superman. He also has that water slide, which can be really difficult. It can be broken up or placed too high or low. But these are some really nice figures made in Portugal. And here we have Wonder Woman. I think she's really well done. Her face could have been done better, but that Ring of Fire is extremely rare. They've reproduced it. They make aluminum heavy metal ones. Here's Aquaman. Oftentimes his knife is missing. And Flash was one of the tougher JLA figures. Especially a nice clean example. These were hand painted, and you're seeing a reproduction from Scooter, who bagged the idea of reproducing the JLA playset in glossy red. And this is a really nice clean blue Batman. I love him like that, with a blue cape as well as a blue figure. And they came in multiple colors, and red is the rarest for Batman, as well as Joker and Robin, actually. Here he is in this nice Irish green. It's a strange color combination. And there's Robin in red. Robin in opaque green. They never made him in translucent. And here we have Joker in most appropriate purple. And the opaque green, and the translucent green, and the translucent orange, which wakes you up, someone said when they looked at my set. And I love this yellow. And there he is in gray. You can make out his features best in gray, but gray is a dull color. There we have translucent white. These were said to be color test shots. And there they are in opaque plastic white. And there they are in white milky rubber. And here is a painted example. He never was issued painted, so people spent the time. That looks pretty good. Now we're on to Brainstorm. You're seeing him in green. And there he is in purple. And there's a nice orange. All the villains minus Joker came in purple, orange, and green. Now we're on to Keyman, whose proper name is The Key. Showing you some nice clean examples. And I found this translucent root beer colored one, which I thought was pretty cool. And now we're on to Mouse Man. So he's this flesh tone peachy with the long needle variant with the sharp cut, slant cut that is. Here you're seeing him in orange. You see the translucency of his ears, which I love. There's a nice green example with a long needle, and there he is with a short needle. This is one mold variation without the long, slanted cut, sharp needle tip and the full base. And here he is with a completely different base where he's got these foot pads and that same non-sharp needle tip. So there's 3 mold variations for Mouse Man. He's the toughest. This is a reproduction that a guy offers on eBay. I'm going to show you a lot of different components he offers. An opaque orange. And this translucent orange for Thunderbolt. And he's a difficult figure. He's one of the more tough figures. It's hard to find that lightning bolt where it's not damaged. Here he is in the Justice League Unlimited series. I thought I'd throw that in. And finally, Kaltor, the 2-headed dragon, which, you know, that character is actually purple in the comics. And there we see an orange example, nice and clean. And they all had their names in bold caps at the base with this embossed raised lettering and the logo and copyright information. These are reproduction figures that surfaced on eBay a few years ago. And here are the heroes, all 6 of them, cast in solid colors. And I seen these a while back on eBay. It's a mixture of some original and reproduction, and somebody turned them day glow. So I thought that looked pretty cool. And now we're on to the robot. Here he is with gray limbs and a red torso. And there he is with a gray torso and bright candy red limbs. And this is a reproduction offered on eBay. And this is an original gray solar ray weapon. And these are 2 side-by-side reproductions offered on eBay of gray and red. The first one you're seeing here for the back computer console is a resin early reproduction that wasn't made perfect, and then the second one is actually original and it was just slightly damaged. And this is a reproduction, which is not exactly accurate, which is good because we don't want it to devalue originals. And here's another inaccurate command console, mainly to do with the rabbit ears and tree antennas, but might suffice for someone that don't want to spend a lot of money for a missing playset part that is nondescript, like this plane launcher. Here it is in that soft Eastery yellow color, and this is an original. The yellow is more bright. And here we have a sold example that happened on eBay. You're seeing over 1,200, but I've seen these fetch 1,500 alone. Here's an original bat plane. You should look for the headrest inside the cockpit. Sometimes it doesn't always come out in the mold. And this is a vintage 1995 scooter reproduction in hard gloss plastic. This is a dull plastic, which is more accurate. Repro offered on eBay. And this we have a translucent Batmobile that was also found on eBay. And this one is an original Batmobile with original half figures inside. And sometimes you'll find them in translucent white or opaque white. Here's Batman and Robin side by side. These I obtained a long time ago. And these are reproductions offered from that dealer on eBay. And the molds have been altered on the figures. Now the Sears exclusive Batman playset, which was a mail away, came with this Batmobile with the silver airbrushed highlights in the front, back, and top as well. And I seen this navy blue reproduction on eBay. Thought it looked pretty cool. And he makes all these color varieties of the great George Barris design Batcar, which men are hardcore obsessed with. And this happened on eBay over 10 years ago, offered by Dr. Jerry Harnish, who said he went to a show in the late 80s near New York where a former employee of the Ideal Toy Corporation brought him all these white, translucent, and opaque color test shot parts with sprue trees sometimes, as you see here. I acquired a lot of parts from the lot, and let's talk about the Sanctuary Mountain. Okay, so here is an original purple, and there is another original that was offered by Heritage Auctions years ago. And this is another original, and if you notice, it doesn't look as purpley, so it's got the color behind the purple, which is really like a cream over the purple, but definitely original. You'll find it reverse painted sometimes, and here are 3 different examples of originals, and this is the interior of that cream colored one, and it is not painted like this, it's cast like this. And here we have a purpled up one that was brown. This is how they can appear, and those white doors are from that lot. And this is a reproduction offered on eBay where it is not 100% accurate, which is good, because that would devalue the original, and the word sanctuary is not contouring to the entranceway. These are the doors. So all the yellow parts to the sanctuary are super rare. Periscope with pine cone antenna, weather vane, 2 doors, and most importantly, the lock for those 2 doors, and the doorway bridge, which a lot of people forget, which Ideal later cut off. Now that's an original instruction sheet, and this is a reproduction instruction sheet in a fully reproduction playset, appropriately. And this is the reproduction close-up that you'll find on eBay. You're looking at a page from the Ideal catalog from 1966, advertising the Justice League of America playset, and the Batman playset, and the 3 4-pack carded. And then we have a close-up of that JLA playset. Now this is a prototype, and of course this is a prototype as well, box and all. Now on to the Batman playset, which is a scaled-down version of the JLA playset. Price realized for almost $14,000. And here you're looking at the interior. It's a shame they didn't make Penguin and Riddler to go with Joker instead of recycling JLA villains. And here we have a reproduction box from Paul Shapiro out in Illinois, which he made it in this matte finish, dry red color. Here's the interior. Now the bat on the mountaintop idea came from the Ideal catalog prototype. And this is from a collector named David. I had to share this. Extreme dedication. They're the 1995 reproduction scooter playset boxes, which they only made 45 of. He also made this JLA playset, box and all, which looks incredible. And in this set, he's painted all the villains that Ideal didn't issue painted, which is really cool to see. And this is a print ad for the 23-piece Batman playset issued by Sears exclusively with a snowy looking mountain. And this is an example that Heritage Auctions sold. There are 10 vacuum formed plastic pieces. They're very fragile. They often are found with splits or chips. It came issued in this standard corrugated shipping carton, but it did say Batman Playset and Sears. The brown Sanctuary Mountain belongs to this set, and the purple belongs to the JLA set. Heritage sold an example last year for $10,000, which I think is a record for this toy. Sometimes you can find these parts with the ink impressed on the interior side from another part, which is rare to find. And then here is a print ad for the 6-piece Batman playset, also offered by Sears. And this is where you'll find the half figures, which could also come in gray and blue or red. And there's Joker in the most rare color of red. And it came with the key, or key man, with that background, Gotham City National Bank in the center. And it was the only way to obtain this background standee. Now you're looking at a black and white print ad featuring the carrying case. And here it is. The Batcave carrying case there is the original hang tag. It came in 2 different colors, blue and green. And it came issued with this little troll. So if you're missing that troll, yours might be incomplete, right? There's a handle variation, which is a totally different mold, but one white, one black, and the hang tag would have a string of either white or black. There's the atomic pile resembling Adam West's cave, and you're seeing 2 different shades for the vacuum form Batmobile. And this set was also offered without that Batmobile, and with the 3 figures of Batman and Robin and Joker. And you're seeing another print ad showing you the troll, not the big troll in the front. That one was made by Unita. And this is a blue-haired variant of that troll. In 1973, Ideal released this Batman play case playset. It came sealed with the Batcave, Gotham Museum, and Wayne Manor, and these standee figural pieces. Now let's talk about the 3 4-pack figure sets that Ideal issued after the JLA playset. Here we have Superman and Aquaman with Keyman and Kaltor, and Batman and Robin with Joker and Brainstorm, and Batman and Robin with the same villains, of course, but in different colors, looking amazing. Now they also produced this 3-pack, which there was a massive find of back in the early 90s, and they came in colors gray, blue, yellow, and peach. In 1995 at a show in New York, I found an example where all the figures were gray with gray capes. It was crazy. Someone on eBay is offering these repro cards, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, for the 4-pack JLA figure sets, and even the 3-pack figure set, which there's tons of. But the JLA playset is the big kahuna. This is the best, most magnificent set as far as superheroes vintage toys. It may not be the rarest, the multiple toy makers, those small, crude little playsets are stupid rare, but this is more magnificent and very desirable. You're looking at an original boxed example. Now here is the Justice League playset instruction sheet, which is much larger than the Batman, but the Batman could also be issued in this set. And there's an empty original box, that was offered years ago through Hakes, and an empty Batman box with a plain back and a side panel. Oftentimes these three configurations of villains will show the same color twice. You got two purple on either side of an orange figure. I never found that attractive, but if it's in original state, you might not want to mess with it. Now I'm going to show you, this is one of my examples of the 1995 Scooter reproduction of the Batman playset. I think only his prototype, which was one of 45, was made in corrugated cardboard, the one he advertised in Toy Shop magazine and took to shows to promote the sales, and they were $500 back then. And you could find Brainstorm in such a dark green he almost looks black. The worst thing about these sets were cleaning off the hot glue string mess and the flimsy cake box, or Superman with a pink cape. A lot of collectors took the Ring of Fire from Wonder Woman from these sets because originals are difficult to find, especially before the days of eBay. And the canopy would come out gold for the Bat car and the Bat plane. You're looking at an old original example and another. This is a set I'm very, very proud of. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I did. It's definitely one of my favorite pieces. You're looking at the interior to one of my sets, which all the components are pristine, dead mint. And now I'm going to leave you with this catalog page from an unproduced playset on Batman and Superman that Ideal never released. And this Facebook post by Chuck Dixon.